quick like and subscribe if you enjoy my content. My name is Ian. I'm 33 years old, and I work as a project manager for a construction company in Nashville, Tennessee. I coordinate timelines, manage budgets, and make sure everyone is where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there. I'm good at logistics, at planning, at seeing the big picture while tracking the small details. I never thought I'd use those skills to figure out when and how my wife was cheating on me. But when you hear your wife say, "I love you" to someone on the phone, and you're standing right there and she's not talking to you, everything changes. That 3-second moment shattered 8 years of marriage and showed me exactly who I'd been living with. I met Megan 9 years ago at a friend's barbecue in East Nashville. She was working as a dental hygienist, warm and friendly in ways that put people at ease. I was the construction guy, practical and straightforward. We clicked immediately. We got married a year later, bought a house in the Donaldson area, a 3-bedroom ranch with a big backyard and a 2-car garage. Megan continued working at a dental practice in Green Hills. I worked my way up from site supervisor to project manager. Combined income around $125,000. We were comfortable, stable, building a good life. For 7 years, everything was solid. We had our routines, our couple friends, our plans for the future. We'd talk about kids eventually, maybe after we'd saved more money and traveled a bit. Then about 6 months ago, something shifted. It wasn't dramatic. No big fights, no obvious problems. Just small changes that accumulated over time. Megan had started working longer hours. Dental hygienists usually work regular schedules, 8 to 5 o'clock, maybe a late day once a week. But Megan was suddenly staying until 7 o'clock or 8 p.m. several nights a week. "We're short-staffed," she'd explain. "Dr. Barrett is taking extra patients to make up for it. We all have to pitch in." I understood. Staffing issues happen. I supported her. But her phone behavior had changed too. She'd always been casual about her phone, would leave it on the counter, wouldn't care if I picked it up to check the time. But now she carried it everywhere. To the bathroom, to the bedroom, outside when checking the mail. And she'd change her lock screen. For years, it had been a photo of us from our honeymoon in Mexico. One day I noticed it was just a generic landscape photo. "New wallpaper?" I asked. "Yeah, just wanted something different." Small thing. But it bothered me more than it should have. The physical intimacy between us had decreased. We'd gone from several times a week to once every 2 weeks. When I tried to initiate, she was too tired or not feeling well or stressed from work. I started noticing other things. Megan had started dressing differently for work. More carefully. She'd spend extra time on her makeup, wear nicer scrubs, style her hair more deliberately. "You look nice," I'd tell her. "Thanks. Just trying to be more professional." But dental hygienists in scrubs don't need to be that polished. Something felt off. Then there were the text messages. I'd see her phone light up on the counter. She hadn't disabled notifications yet. Most were normal. Her sister, her friends, group chats about weekend plans. But occasionally I'd see a name I didn't recognize. Drew. Just Drew. No last name, no context. The preview would show things like, "Miss you already," or "Can't wait to see you tomorrow," or "Thinking about you." Who's Drew? I asked one evening after seeing another message pop up. Megan glanced at her phone. "Oh, he's a new dental assistant at the practice. He's been helping with the extra workload. He texts you a lot. We coordinate schedules. He's been really helpful during this short staff period." It sounded reasonable. Coworkers text about work things. But "miss you already" and "thinking about you" didn't sound like work coordination. I let it go. Told myself I was being paranoid. But I started paying more attention. 3 weeks ago, Megan mentioned she'd be working late again. "How late?" I asked. "Probably until 8. We have a complicated patient, and Dr. Barrett wants me to stay for the whole appointment." "Want me to bring you dinner?" "No, that's okay. I'll grab something on the way home." She left for work at her normal time, 7:30 a.m. I went to my construction site. We were building a commercial office complex in Cool Springs and managed my crews through the day. Around 6:30 p.m., I finished my site walk and headed home. Stopped at the grocery store to pick up ingredients for dinner. Figured I'd make something nice since Megan would be home late and hungry. I got home around 7:15 p.m., carried the groceries in through the garage. I could hear Megan's voice as I came through the door to the kitchen. She was in the living room, on the phone, facing away from the kitchen entrance. She hadn't heard me come in. I was about to call out to her when I heard what she was saying. I know, I miss you too. This is so hard, having to pretend everything's normal. I froze, set the groceries down silently on the counter. No, he doesn't suspect anything. He's so focused on work, he barely notices I'm here half the time. My heart started pounding. I hate lying to him, but what choice do I have? I can't just drop this bomb without a plan. There was a pause while the person on the other end spoke. Then Megan laughed, a soft, intimate laugh I hadn't heard from her in months. I know. I feel the same way. I can't wait until we can be together without sneaking around. Another pause. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, usual time. Then she said it. 3 words that destroyed everything. I love you too. Not I love you. That would have been odd enough, hearing her say it to someone on the phone when I was supposedly not home. But I love you too, which meant the person on the other end had said it first. And she was reciprocating. I stood in the kitchen, groceries on the counter, listening to my wife tell someone else she loved them. Megan ended the call. I heard her sigh, a content, happy sigh. I picked up a can from a grocery bag and dropped it deliberately on the counter, making noise. Megan? You home? I heard her startle. In? I thought you weren't home until later. Finished early. Why are you home? Thought you were working until 8. She appeared in the kitchen doorway, phone clutched in her hand, face flushed. Oh, the patient canceled. Last minute. So I came home. When did you get home? Just a few minutes ago. Who were you talking to? What? On the phone. I heard you talking to someone. Her face went through several expressions. Surprise, calculation, decision. Oh, that was Drew. From work. Just coordinating tomorrow's schedule. You tell your coworkers you love them? She went pale. What? I heard you. I love you too. That's what you said. Right before you hung up. Ian. Who is Drew, Megan? And don't tell me he's just a coworker. She sank onto one of our kitchen chairs. Put her face in her hands. We sat in silence for a long moment. I stood by the counter. She sat at the table. The groceries sat between us, unpacked. Finally, she looked up. It's not what you think. Then what is it? Drew and I, we've become close. But nothing has happened. Nothing physical. We're just friends. Friends who say, I love you, to each other while you lie to your husband about working late. It's complicated. It's actually pretty simple. You're having an emotional affair. At minimum. And you've been lying to me about it for months. Ian, please. How long? What? How long have you been seeing Drew? Or talking to Drew? Or whatever you want to call what you've been doing? She looked down. For months. For months. You've been telling another man you love him for 4 months. It's not like that. That's exactly what it's like. You just told him you love him. I heard you. You said you can't wait to be together without sneaking around. You said you hate lying to me, but don't have a choice. What part of that is not like that? Tears started falling down her face. I didn't mean for this to happen. But it happened. And you let it keep happening. For 4 months. I was confused. Were you confused when you told him you loved him? Because you sounded pretty certain. She had no response to that. I grabbed my keys. I'm leaving. I need to think. Don't call me. Where are you going? I don't know. Anywhere but here. I drove to my friend Marcus's apartment in Germantown. Knocked on his door at 8 p.m. He took one look at my face and stepped aside. Come in. What happened? I told him everything. The phone call, what I'd heard, the conversation that followed. Marcus handed me a beer and sat across from me. What are you going to do? I don't know. I can't even process this. I came home early to surprise her with dinner, and instead, I heard her tell another man she loves him. Is she sleeping with this Drew guy? She says no. Says nothing physical has happened. But does it matter? She's emotionally checked out. She's planning a future with him. It matters for the divorce. I looked at Marcus. You think I should divorce her? Do you want to stay married to someone who's in love with someone else? I didn't have an answer. I stayed at Marcus's that night. Slept on his couch. Megan called 17 times. I didn't answer. The next morning, I called a divorce attorney. Her name was Sarah Mitchell, came highly recommended for handling complex cases. Sarah, I need advice. I overheard my wife tell another man she loves him. I confronted her. She admits to an emotional affair, but claims nothing physical has happened. Do you believe her about the physical aspect? I don't know. I don't know what to believe anymore. What do you want to do? I think I want a divorce. But I need to know my options first. Tennessee is a no-fault state, but we can still file on grounds of inappropriate marital conduct. An emotional affair qualifies. Do you have evidence? I heard the phone call. I can testify to what I heard. That's a start. Do you have text messages, emails, anything documented? Not yet, but I know they text constantly. I've seen messages pop up on her phone. Get screenshots if you can. Documentation strengthens your case. Even if the affair is just emotional, it establishes that she's checked out of the marriage. I want to work that day like a zombie. Walk my construction site, talk to my crews, reviewed schedules. All on autopilot. Megan texted me around noon. Please come home so we can talk. I'll explain everything. I didn't respond. That evening, I went back to the house. Megan's car was in the driveway. I found her in the living room, eyes red from crying. Ian, I held up a hand. I need you to be completely honest with me, and I'll know if you're lying. She nodded. Have you slept with Drew? No. I swear. We've never been physical. Have you kissed him? She hesitated. Once. 3 weeks ago. But that's all. Once. We were in his car after work. It just happened. But we stopped immediately and agreed it couldn't happen again. So you've kissed him. You've told him you love him. You've been planning a future together. But you expect me to believe nothing else has happened. Because nothing else has happened. I know it sounds impossible, but it's true. Do you love him? She looked at the floor. I have feelings for him. Strong feelings. But I love you too. I'm confused, Ian. I don't know what I want. Well, let me make it easy for you. I'm filing for divorce. You can be with Drew without any confusion. No, please don't do that. Give me time to figure this out. Figure what out? You've already figured it out. You love him. You told him that while I was in the next room. The only thing you're confused about is how to leave me without looking like the bad guy. That's not true. Then end it with Drew. Right now. Call him and tell him it's over. She looked at me with panic. Ian, if you want any chance of saving this marriage, you end it with Drew right now. In front of me. Or I'm walking out that door, and you'll only hear from me through my attorney. She picked up her phone with shaking hands. Pulled up Drew's contact. Press call. He answered on the second ring. I could hear his voice faintly through the phone. Hey, beautiful. Miss you already. Megan's voice was shaky. Drew, I need to talk to you. What's wrong? Ian knows. He heard us on the phone yesterday. He knows everything. There was silence on the other end. I have to end this, Megan continued. I can't keep doing this. It's not fair to him. It's not fair to anyone. Megan, no. We talked about this. You were going to tell him after the holidays. I can't. It's over. Please don't contact me anymore. Megan. She hung up, set the phone down on the coffee table between us. There. It's done. I looked at her. Do you feel better? Or do you feel like you just gave up what you actually wanted? She started crying again. That was my answer. I'm staying at Marcus's, I said. I need space. Real space. Not just a night. I need at least a week to think about whether this marriage is worth saving. Of course it's worth saving. Not to you. You spent 4 months building a relationship with someone else. You kissed him. You told him you love him. You made plans for a future that didn't include me. That's not someone who thinks their marriage is worth saving. I packed a bag and left. Over the next week, I met with Sarah twice. We discussed my options, the strength of my case, what a divorce would look like. You've been married 8 years, Sarah said. You own a house together. Do you have significant separate assets? The house has about $75,000 in equity. We have about $40,000 in joint savings. I have a 401k worth around $90,000. She has an IRA worth about $30,000. No kids. No kids. That simplifies things significantly. In Tennessee, marital property is divided equitably. Given the emotional affair and her admitted kissing of another man, we have good grounds to argue for a favorable division. What's favorable? You keep your 401k. She keeps her IRA. Those are separate. The house and joint savings get divided, but we argue for 60 to 40 or 65 to 35 in your favor, given her marital misconduct. What if she fights it? Then we go to court and present evidence of the affair. The phone call you overheard, the kiss she admitted to, any text messages we can obtain. It won't look good for her. During that week, Megan called and texted constantly, begging me to come home, promising she'd ended things with Drew, swearing nothing physical had happened beyond the one kiss. I didn't believe her about that last part, but I also didn't care anymore. On day 8, I went back to the house. Megan was there, looking exhausted and hopeful. Ian, thank God. Can we talk? We can talk, but I need to tell you something first. She sat down on the couch, looking nervous. I've spent the past week thinking about what I heard you say on that phone call. I love you too. Those 3 words. And I realized something. What? I'll never be able to unhear them. Every time you tell me you love me from now on, I'll think about you saying it to Drew. Every time you say you miss me, I'll remember you saying you can't wait to be with him without sneaking around. Every moment of intimacy we might have will be overshadowed by you kissing him in his car. Tears were streaming down her face. I made a mistake. You made a choice. 100 choices over 4 months. Every text, every phone call, every late night you claimed to be working, every kiss. Those were all choices. I'm sorry. I know you are. But sorry doesn't change what I heard. Sorry doesn't erase 4 months of emotional infidelity. Sorry doesn't make me trust you again. So what are you saying? I pulled the divorce papers from my bag. Sarah had drawn them up that morning. I'm saying I want a divorce. These are the papers. You can review them with your own attorney. I'm requesting a 60-40 split in my favor of marital assets based on your admitted affair. She took the papers with shaking hands. You're really doing this? You did this. Well, you told Drew you loved him while I stood in the kitchen unpacking groceries. That's when this marriage ended. I ended it with him. Because you got caught. Not because you wanted to. I asked you what you felt worse about. Ending things with Drew or hurting me. You couldn't answer. That told me everything. I stood up. I'm moving in with Marcus temporarily while we sort out the house. My attorney will be in touch with yours about next steps. Ian, please. There's nothing left to say, Megan. You said, I love you to someone else. That's not something I can get past. I walked out, heard her sobbing behind me, felt nothing but relief. The divorce process took 4 months. Megan hired an attorney who tried to argue that an emotional affair wasn't grounds for an unequal division of assets. Sarah presented my testimony about the phone call, Megan's admission to kissing Drew, and text messages Sarah had subpoenaed from Megan's phone records showing thousands of messages between Megan and Drew over 4 months. The text messages were worse than I'd imagined. Explicit discussions of their feelings, plans for their future, complaints about me. Megan, I wish I could just be with you without all this guilt. Drew, soon. Once you tell Ian, we could be together openly. Megan, I know. I'm just scared. But I love you. That's what matters. We settled after 3 months of negotiation. I got 60% of the house equity and joint savings. We each kept our own retirement accounts. No alimony for either party. 8 years of marriage ended because I heard 3 words that weren't meant for me. I heard through mutual friends that Megan and Drew tried to make a real relationship work after the divorce. It lasted 6 weeks. Turns out relationships built on emotional affairs don't translate well to reality. Drew apparently felt guilty about breaking up a marriage. Megan apparently felt judged by everyone who knew what had happened. They broke up in February. Megan moved into an apartment alone. Drew moved to a different dental practice to avoid seeing her. She tried to reach out about a year after the divorce. A long email about mistakes and regrets, and how she destroyed the best thing in her life. I read it once and deleted it. Because the truth was simple. I'd heard her say, I love you too, to someone else. That moment couldn't be taken back or explained away. I kept moving forward. Stayed at my construction company, got promoted to senior project manager. Bought a condo in East Nashville, modern and clean, all mine. About 18 months after the divorce, I met someone new. Her name was Kelly. She was an architect who worked with my construction company on commercial projects. On our 4th date, she asked about my divorce. I overheard my wife tell another man she loved him, while I was standing in the kitchen unpacking groceries. Kelly's eyes widened. She said it while you were home? She thought I was still at work. I came home early to surprise her with dinner. Instead, I heard her entire phone conversation with her affair partner. What did you do? Confronted her immediately. She admitted to a 4-month emotional affair and at least one kiss. Claimed nothing else physical happened. I filed for divorce within a week. That fast. I knew the moment I heard her say, "I love you too," that the marriage was over. You can't unhear something like that. Kelly nodded slowly. That's heartbreaking, but also brave. A lot of people would have tried to work through it. Some betrayals can't be worked through. When your spouse tells someone else they love them, when they're planning a future with another person, there's nothing left to save. We've been together for over a year now. Kelly has never given me reason to doubt her. Never sneaks phone calls. Never stays late at work without a clear explanation. And when she says, "I love you," I know it's only for me. My wife said, "I love you" to someone on the phone. It wasn't me. And in that moment, standing in my kitchen holding groceries, I realized I was married to someone who loved someone else. 3 words, 3 seconds, 8 years of marriage destroyed. Some people said I gave up too quickly, that I should have tried counseling, given her another chance, worked through the emotional affair. But those people didn't hear what I heard. Didn't hear the intimacy in her voice, the happiness, the way she said, "I love you too," like it was the most natural thing in the world. You can't unhear something like that. And you can't stay married to someone who says those words to someone else. So I didn't.